All right.
Yeah.
So just say, this is Charlie Cope, and you're listening to Garrett Smith Podcast?
Yeah.
Awesome. Just let me know when.
Cool. Go for it.
This is Charlie Cope, and you're listening to the Garrett Smith Podcast.
All right, now I'll play my little song there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 20. You know what I love about podcasts? I can cut myself out when I stutter and say stupid stuff like that. You know what? Let's just leave that in there. Welcome to episode 27 of the podcast with Garrett Smith. I have Charlie Cope here today, and you are from, I'm tempted to say Dallas, because you're DFW, but I don't know where. Is that right?
Yeah, DFW. I drive all around. DFW is good enough.
Well, see, you're braver than me already, because I hate driving around DFW.
Yeah, I can get that. And with a big truck, I used to drive a truck, now I have a van. It's a little complicated.
Yeah, I feel that. I lived in Houston for 3 years, and even after 3 years, I knew where I was going, but I never did get used to the drivers. And in Dallas, I just can't get used to the exits whenever I'm up there. I'm just like, gosh.
Oh, for sure. I still miss them constantly.
Well, have there been fewer people on the road lately? I mean, I know people are slowly starting to open back up and get out and about and everything, but I know with the coronavirus, it's been kind of... And I apologize to listeners. It's getting a little redundant because I thought, okay, we'll get like 10 episodes into this thing and they'll have a vaccine and I won't have to ask guests how they're doing. But here we are at episode 27 and I'm asking how you're doing up there.
Pretty good, man. Yeah, the drivers, for a while, every road was a ghost town, and, just driving to and fro was pretty nice. I'm actually on tour right now in Midland, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's not anybody really in Midland to begin with, Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not compared to DFW.
Yeah.
So you're actually still getting to get out and play, which is really cool because a lot of us, I don't know, I can't say I didn't have any shows gig. I just for the sake of safety here had to postpone and move a couple things around. So I'm not technically canceled, but a lot of artists have been getting canceled and going back to the live stream thing. So what's it been like for you being able to kind of get out there and still do your thing?
It's definitely put a damper on it. I scheduled most of this tour back in March, and I was almost done, and then the coronavirus hit, or February, March, and gigs have constantly been getting canceled. I just had to keep getting them again and canceled and getting them again. And hell, I'm still booking shows because I'm actually on to Houston next. And,
okay.
Yeah, and there's like one show I don't have the time yet for. I'm trying to get in touch with the venue owner and all that sort of thing. Coronavirus has definitely made it complicated, but a lot of my shows are being live streamed too, or you could get tickets for them and watch them online. That's what a lot of people are doing. So
where in Houston are you playing?
Actually, I'm from Brookshire, west of Katy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I just moved to the DFW back in August. But I'm starting off in Brookshire on the 27th at Chocolate Buddha House Concerts. It's we had to close it down for people to come in person, but we're still doing it online, and you can buy tickets on like all my socials or my website.
That's pretty cool. And I've noticed some venues I don't know, I guess you would call it the second go around, because we're like a donut in Texas. We had like this opening in the middle and now we're closed again. But I noticed a lot of venues this time around seem to be doing that, where you can still come play and they'll just live stream it out. I think Last Chance Dance Hall down in Austin's doing that.
Yeah, I heard that about the Old Quarter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's is that the one in Denton?
No, it's in Galveston.
Oh, okay. Which one am I thinking? Oh, never mind. I was thinking of that. What's that burger? LSA Burger. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, LSA Burger. Yeah, I'm going to University of North Texas, so that's like down the road from me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I saw a thing yesterday on Twitter. It was Barstool UNT. They've added parentheses online after their name, and they put up Steven Crowder has the "Change My Mind" sign, and it was like A&M is only going to conference only, so they can avoid playing UNT or whatever. I was like, okay.
Man, I have not been there much, and I kind of worked way through the football season, so I didn't get to see any games. Sorry, talking like a musician, but. Man, I've heard they're badass. I've got to see a show next semester. A game. I keep talking like a musician. A show.
Hey, for the band, they play at halftime. It's a show.
Yeah, that's true. I have a lot of friends that are in the band.
Well, y'all are kind of on my stadium bucket list. I've had this bucket list of going to all 12 FBS schools in the state of Texas for a game, and I only have 4 left, and 3 of them are the DFW schools. So I'm trying to find like it probably won't be this year with the scheduling, but I'm trying to find a day where TCU, SMU, and North Texas each have a different time of the day, so I can go catch half of each one's game and knock them all out.
That would be cool. Yeah, man. If it's a home game, let me know.
Yeah, let's do it. Maybe they can get us to play halftime. There you go.
Yeah, man. I can give you a friend of mine's ID. You can get in for free.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, this is on a podcast. We probably shouldn't say that.
Well, I haven't gotten any indication that the athletics department of UNT is listening, so be my luck, I'll get a call next week. So you're able to get out there and do some traveling, do some playing, and kind of stay active. And you've got new music coming out pretty soon. I've listened to some of your older stuff, but it's pretty cool that you've got new stuff on the way. Tell me what's this project been like for you, and what are you looking forward to about getting it out there?
Well, it was supposed to come out quite a long time ago, but because of coronavirus, it's been one struggle after the next, and just kind of delaying it. I wanted to make sure my band and everything was safe. I didn't want to put them in harm's way or make them feel uncomfortable in any way, getting in a small room and recording. But yeah, my song that's about to come out is called What About You? It's not really anything like I've done before. Of course, I released an acoustic version, but even that doesn't really do the song justice, I don't think. Because it's a big band song. It's kind of like a mix of little country, little rock. I tell people this is my free bird.
It has a Skynyrd vibe to it. It really does. You know what I would actually relate the beginning of it to? You know the song by Thin Lizzy, Whiskey in the Jar? It kind of has like an opening that sounds sort of like that, like the same kind of sound. You
mean that riff in C Lydian?
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, man. I really like that. I was listening to a Randy Rogers band, Kiss Me in the Dark. I was like, I really like that intro. I was like, man, I got to get a guitar intro for this song.
Yeah, you gotta find that right intro. In fact, the song I used for the intro to this podcast, I always use Port Aransas, just the one I put the music video out to. And I actually had a friend who has been on the podcast before, is the guy who was on episode 2. We were in a group chat yesterday, and he goes, and here comes Garrett, and he actually typed out the pop that the drums do. I'm like, really, man? Like, you're gonna type out my intro in the group chat? So once you find that intro, it sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I think it really kind of puts it together, and you can hear my guitarist, Steve, and even my violin player, Eugene, kind of play it or different versions of it. We've worked into the rest of the song, kind of like an Easter egg, sort of, and we spent a lot of man hours on that, getting that to work.
Well, that's cool. Is this kind of like the tip of the iceberg for multiple new releases, or is this kind of like a standalone you've been wanting to put out?
It's the tip of the iceberg. It's actually going to be the first song on my album that was supposed to come out in September, but now it's going to come out in May, depending on how the apocalypse goes.
Yeah, we're kind of waiting that one out.
Yeah, but we've actually begun recording already. We recorded most of the songs. We haven't finished everything quite yet, but What About You will be on it. And another one, Waller County, we're going to release that as a single in September. Kind of doing that on the same day that the album was supposed to release. So
oh, wow.
I can give you something, I can't give you the album, but I can give you something.
That's really cool. I mean, I like what I've heard so far. And, even listening to like your older and more acoustic stuff, that stuff's pretty great too. So I think it all kind of folds together really well. I
appreciate it.
Well, take me through kind of like what got you to where you are now. You didn't just wake up one morning and you're at UNT. Take me through like, your influences and kind of how you got going down the path of a musician.
Yeah, my influences, they started out with, you've heard my older music, so you could probably tell pretty easily, but old school country music. So like Merle Haggard was really big for me, Chris Christopherson. I really liked the songwriters. So those guys, Willie Nelson, and then, of course, Johnny Cash, George Strait, Keith Whitley, that sort of thing. The old school stuff. And then when I got a little older and technology got a little bit better, I could do a little research and go a little further back to like Johnny Horton or Jimmy Rogers, that sort of thing. And then I started getting into in high school when I was about 16. I was already playing music. I got into classic rock, and then I started getting like folk music. And you're from Houston, so you know the Houston music scene is very Americana, country folk. Yeah.
Best. Well, I actually grew up in Amarillo. My wife's from Houston, and I always felt like it was more like a metalhead and rap scene than anything. It was kind of hard for us country people.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, there's some fine little cliques in Houston. You can go, you can play, and everybody seems to know everybody. Like, you ever played at JP Hop's house? I
never made it over there.
I know they're closed right now, but they're over on closer to where I was on the west side of Houston, over on Westheimer and 6th or somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
It's a real big songwriter place, very old school country, folk, classic rock, that sort of thing. That place was a big influence on me because it was such a big songwriter hotspot. And so I would just go there and I would learn. When I was starting out, I was in a couple of different bands. I started doing relatively well for myself, and then I left all that. I left some management I was doing. I realized I just brushed through like a really big part of the story, so it might be kind of confusing.
Well, it's like a rock and roll biopic, They just it's like, oh, and then suddenly they were huge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 16, I was doing some really cool stuff. I was playing with like Steve Wariner, Ben Haggard. Got to play with him a couple times.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. He was a pretty cool dude. And then I left that management I was under. I was 16 years old. It wasn't necessarily the safest thing for a 16-year-old, and I wanted to be a rock star. So I was like, well, Hank Williams and Merle Haggard, they drink a lot, so I should do the same, doing all that stuff. And I was 16 at the time. I had a fully grown beard, so everybody thought I was 23, but wasn't the best thing. So I decided to quit all of that, stop messing around and really put some effort into it. And that's actually when I recorded that first album, Good Time Charlie. And if you do listen to it, you can tell that I really, I didn't know anything about guitar. I mean, I wasn't a guitar player yet. I was just a singer, and I didn't know anything about actual notes. I just played for a bunch of drunks in bars. So you can tell, like, that was only a couple of years ago compared to now. I mean, 8-hour practice days, and I would just go to bars and just listen to the music and, get just about anybody's input or tips or suggestions to get better. But that Houston music scene, I think, is my biggest influence, from Americana music, which is what I call myself now, Americana, to like B.B. King and Jimi Hendrix, to David Bowie, and all the way back to country. Kind of goes all over the place, but that Houston music scene is really where it's at, where I started.
That's cool. Houston can be so hit or miss for some people. It's like, because I didn't have the best luck there, but a lot of people, they'll go and they'll completely rock it. I mean, they'll have that's like you said, that's kind of where it was for them, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you played some of those first gigs there and everything. What took you to Denton?
UNT. I'm a lot younger than people actually think. Like I said earlier, when I was 15, 16, I had a beard. I've been 23 since I was 16. You've
got to put that in a song somewhere.
Right? I've tried. It never seems to work out, but I got to put it in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, you have to, when you're a teenager and you're playing bars, you're going to get kicked out otherwise.
Yeah.
At least a lot of the time. So,
that kind of takes me all the way back to episode 2 of this podcast. There was a story told about how a guy got kicked out of his own show for bringing somebody underage in.
I've played casinos where I was kicked out after I played, but before I got paid.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I don't do casinos anymore, or at least until I'm 21. But right now, I'm currently 19.
Technically, you gambled and lost. I mean, you got the casino experience.
That's true. And there was a lot of people there. I mean, casinos are pretty cool.
Yeah, you've gotten to do a lot more being 23 since 19 since 16 than a lot of guys have gotten to do before 30.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
True.
Well, so some of your shows obviously have cool backstories to them. Which songs of yours would you say have the best backstories?
Well, I wrote 1,200 songs from August to January for the album, trying to pick the top 1%. So I've written somewhere over 1,500 songs. I have no idea where. Over that, maybe over 2,000, maybe. So I have a lot to pick from. And when you have that many, you get them of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, you start mixing them and matching them.
Yeah, sometimes you do. But just to get the best song. But all the best songs are always true stories. And I found that they're all typically just about one relationship that I've had. And it was just kind of an on again, off again relationship. And maybe it's just because I'm young. I don't know. And it was all through high school. Hell, I think we started dating in middle school up until college, or a little bit into college. But we broke up and we got back together so many times that I think that is it gave me a lot of breakups to sing about, even though it was with the same person. So I could sing about that same situation a million different times because it was a little bit different when we would break up, once a week.
Yeah.
But what about you? I think really does have a really interesting backstory, with how it was written. I ripped it off from another song that I wrote that was supposed to be like a teenage rock song. I just put kind of a more country feel to it. And it was about, it's about an impending breakup. It's coming. And I really like those opening lines. I tried laughing because it's the only thing I ain't tried yet. You're getting further the closer that I get. I think that those two lines really that was us in a nutshell. Most, I think a lot of, young relationships probably are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially once college starts.
Yeah, that's true. I found that out pretty quickly. I was like, oh, hey, this is different. This is nice. But not that it's not nice, because I'm sure she'll be listening. Not that wasn't nice.
As long as I don't get sued, man, say whatever.
Yeah.
So you've written more songs, I think, than I don't know. You can put several artists together combined who haven't written that many. I think I've been working on the same 10 for about 3 years. But granted, I think a lot of artists do what you do. They compile a ton of them and try to shave off that tip of the iceberg. I kind of I don't know. I'll write 8 to 10 songs, and just the perfectionist in me is like, okay, instead of leaving these behind, I'm going to keep changing them and morphing them. They'll become different songs. And eventually I'm like, okay, these are 10 that I want. But I think a lot of artists try to get kind of a group together. So you've got a pretty good variety to pick from.
I really do. There's all kinds of, of course, they're not all good songs, but of course, you get, I love blues, and there's so many songs. There's probably 1,000 more that I just haven't written down. Because at my shows, a lot of times I'll have people, give me a letter between A and G, and I'll write a song in that key, and then you give me a word. All right, this song is called Balloon in F, and so there's all just different kinds, and usually when I do that, it'll be kind of bluesy, but
that's cool.
And so many different influences from Mumford and Sons and Lumineers to Haggard to Leonard Skinner. You just get a lot of different kinds.
Well, who would you say are your biggest influences?
They would definitely be people no one's heard of, just friends of mine that I've studied. But people that famous people would probably be Merle Haggard, Chris Christopherson, Tom Petty. Tom Petty is big. Maybe Eagles. Yeah, those guys right there. That was pretty big for me. Maybe even Lumineers.
I'm gonna have to send your music over to Stephen James.
Oh yeah.
Texas. He's a big time Tom Petty guy. Every time I'd go down to Corpus to see one of his shows, he'd bring all the songwriters up, and we'd play Mary Jane's Last Dance, and it almost became like a tradition. So I think I played down there in March. It was the night before they started shutting everything down, and I was playing with a lot of his old band members, and so we played it without him even there. It was like, okay, now it's expanding. But I'll have to send your music over to him too.
Yeah, for sure. Send it to whoever.
I say that like I am only going to share your music with one listener. No, everyone listening right now is going to get to hear some stuff. But
yeah, What About You comes out July 24th, this Friday.
I am ready for that. Of all of the songs you've written, would you say that this one means the most, or do you have another one that's not out yet that's you're kind of seasoning it and getting it ready because it means the most to you?
It means the most is hard. I mean, this one means a lot because when I wrote it back in August, and this was one of the first songs that I wrote in that 1,200 songs. And it was also like, it was just a new level for me as a songwriter. And so, when you realize that you just reached that new level, it means a big deal, especially as a younger musician, as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And, just going off to music school, trying to make it, but I think that one means a whole lot. I don't know if it means the most because it is kind of a breakup song. So, but actually there's this other one called Waller County. It's actually the one that releases in September. And it's just about, it's actually about me being at UNT and getting back together with that girl, just being like, screw it, I'm driving back to Houston tonight. And that's really what that song is about. Waller County, driving back to Waller County.
That's cool. Speaking of making things, if you could make a music video to any of your songs, which one would you pick?
Well, I am making a music video to What About You.
Okay, cool.
I think if I could do another one, I think it would be my song Breaking Down, Never Felt So Good. Kind of a long title, but at my shows, it's kind of the one that people tend to clap along to or stomp along to. And a lot of people tell me it reminds them of like Mumford & Sons, I Will Wait, kind of like bluegrassy type deal. I think it'd be cool because it's like the chorus is just pretty much just vocals, and there's just like a kick drum, so that's where everybody's like clapping along and stomping along. I think that would be cool, just be like that, and you can get the audience in the music video at a show, because I love incorporating the audience into everything that I do. And then as soon as it starts up again, just fast banjo and mandolin and guitar. I think it'd be cool, just like fast shots of, I don't know, probably me hanging out with a girl, because that's what it's about. But I think that would be really cool to do, and hopefully I would be able to do it if I had the resources and the time.
It takes a lot. I've only got one music video, and it was purposefully done low budget. And we did it during spring break down at the beach in Port Aransas, and it was cool because you just get people to sign off waiver forms saying, yeah, we'll be in the video, and so you didn't have to pay anybody. But it takes a lot. I mean, if you have a song you love and you want to not love it anymore, do a music video to it, because you will hear it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I definitely know it. Practicing this song, I mean, there were days we would practice this, like What About You alone. We would practice that for hours on end. And I know I'd practice it for like 8 hours on my own, and then go to practice with the band, and then practice it again on my own. And then, okay, what did me and the band discuss? All right. So I definitely know that feeling.
It definitely deflates some of the air, but then you play it live, you see people get into it, and it kind of brings it back for you. But speaking of playing live and playing in front of crowds and everything, what are some of your favorite venues and towns to perform?
Well, I already mentioned JP Hop's House. That's definitely one that hits close to home. Yeah, I think JP Hop's House in Houston, it really has a special place to me, in my heart to me. Ventana's Wine Cafe is no longer there in Katy, but the people that owned it were actually they had to close down. They were actually my quote unquote adopted parents, because a lot of the I was the youngest musician in every music scene that I went to. That's how I got the nickname The Kid. Not the best nickname I have, but definitely not the worst. But that was a really cool, and just because it was so intimate, they knew me. I could just kind of walk in and start playing. They're not there anymore, but that was cool. And I'm actually just played one Wednesday and Friday night, the Rusty Bucket Barbecue and Tavern here in Midland. I'm not sure where on that list it is, but it's got to be on there somewhere. Because I don't know, I just really like the feel. I like the people. Kind of a down-home place, talking to all the waitresses and the bartenders. And I opened up for Randall King Friday night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think there was about almost 800 tickets sold, which is really awesome, especially in Corona.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest parts was I started with What About You, and I don't have my backing band with me, so it's just acoustic shows. But I started with What About You, and as I made that pause at the end of the chorus where I sing What About You, I could hear audience members go, What About You? And I almost messed up the song, so it just caught me off guard. I thought that was just so amazing.
That's so cool. That first time you see people singing the songs back to you, that's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, for sure. I always thought it would happen after I released it. I mean, I guess it's not like they're singing along to every word. It's just, those 3 words. But still, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a good sign when it happens pre-release, because then it's like, okay, now we're really set to go once this thing is out there. Right.
Yeah. I'm really excited for it. I know me and my whole team are.
Well, I'm excited to send it to a lot of people, and we'll play it here in a little while. But on Friday, if any listeners are not following you yet, where can people follow you and listen to your music?
You can go to my website, charliecopemusic.com, or you can just do like I do and just Google Charlie Cope, and it'll be the first thing that comes up right next to the Google page and all that. You can go to Instagram and see me at The Real Charlie Cope. Gotta make sure it's the real one, because there's a couple fakes and a couple fan pages, but at The Real Charlie Cope, or Facebook, Twitter. I'm on everything. You could look me up on Grindr if you want. I don't know, all those stuff. But yeah, I'm on there all the time. I'm on all of them. Me and or my team are on all my socials, so you can look me up there. And if you have any questions about any of it, feel free to contact me, because I love it when people contact me or tell me they love the music or they hate the music. I prefer if they say they love the music, but either or is good.
When they tell you they hate it, it's the Jack Sparrow thing. It's like, well, then you have heard of me.
Yeah. I mean, you hated it, but you went out of your way to find me and text it to me. So that's something.
It's like, thank you for that Spotify play. That's like 0.5 cents on my bank account.
That's right. And it pushes the algorithm too.
Haters gonna hate, but haters gonna pay.
That's
awesome.
Right.
Well,
if you hate it so much, tell your friends that will also hate it.
Yeah, tell everyone are gonna hate it. Yeah, Rebecca Black Friday, she's banking. So, I probably should say, of all people, that's probably someone listening. It's like, well, I was gonna come on your podcast, but not anymore. Before we play your song here in a little bit, I do have a big 3 questions that I like to ask everyone that comes on here. And the first one is, if you could collaborate with anyone out there, who would it be?
I was asked this not too long ago, and I actually had the answer. It was a perfect answer, and I wrote it down. I would probably say, anyone that's alive now, of course. I think it would probably be cool. I think this is a different answer. I'll probably give you a different answer every time, but the Lumineers.
That'd be cool.
I think it'd be... Right? I think it'd be kind of like a juxtaposition between that high voice, and if I could do a lower voice for that one, I think it'd be a really cool, kind of different thing.
Let's see. I almost repeated a previous question. Normally I only have to cut out something dumb I say once per episode. Now I think I'm on my 3rd one, so we're just racking them up. If you could headline any venue, where would you play?
Oh, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's for sure. I know it's not the biggest and best venue, but I'm just from a small town near Houston, so to me, that's kind of, that's a big deal.
As bad as the acoustics and a lot of Sundays are in that building, that'd be a cool homecoming moment. If you're from Houston and then you get to come back and play down there, that'd be super cool.
Right. And I actually did get to play there, but I didn't get to play the main stage. I got to play the parade.
Oh, cool.
And, it was on TV. It was really cool. It was a while ago, but I got to sing Boom Scootin' Boogie and God Bless Texas and just in a repeat. And and it started raining on us, and the mic was messing up, but it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I guess the big finale question I have, and I never know what I'm going to get with this. What is the funniest or craziest story you could tell from your music career so far?
Ooh. We should probably stay PG with this. Okay.
I always tell people it doesn't have to be the craziest one. It's just the craziest one that won't get you sued.
Craziest one that won't get me sued. Well, I've played in a lot of different bands, and I was once in a cover band. I was playing guitar. I think I was with them for like 2 or 3 gigs. And we played this really small, just kind of crappy bar. And this, the lead guitar player had really, really tight leather pants on. And he was not the kind of guy that could pull off tight leather pants. So whether it was the bass player or the drummer, I don't know, but somebody thought it'd be funny to douse his pants in something flammable, I guess like Vaseline or something. I had no idea this was going to happen. Apparently I was the only person there that had no idea this was going to happen. But somebody, when they were riding with me, took one of my fireworks from the back of my truck from a completely different story that might get me in trouble, so we won't tell that one. But he, all I saw was a red light and then a screaming guitar player, because he shot that firework at that guy's leather pants. And so he gave me his guitar, and he, just the biggest bearded bald dude, like crazy, like scary looking guy. He's a nice guy, but scary looking guy. And, his pants are on fire, and he's doing this little shimmying dance on stage. And I'm kind of scared, just overall shocked, kind of trying not to laugh at him. And he actually falls off the stage.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And luckily it was kind of a small, crappy bar, so he only fell a couple of feet. He was fine, but somebody in the audience at one of the tables tried to put the fire out. Well, what I can only assume with what he would try to put the fire out did not work, because we were at a bar and all I saw was a lead guitarist volcano just erupt from just ever seen Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights?
Oh yeah, trying to put the fire out.
Yeah, trying to put the fire out. This big guy took his pants off. Eventually got his pants off, got up and ran across the bar. Only at this point, it was just like that because he's half naked and he no longer has his pants on. He's no longer on fire because it's on his pants, and it's just like a little campfire in front of us, in front of this little Foo Fighters cover band.
I bet the owner was thrilled.
Yeah, we did not get paid, but that was the last gig I ever played with the Foo Flingers.
You've had a few that you got kicked out before getting paid.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I try not to do that with my shows. Charlie Cope shows are very, for all the venue owners listening, very, very well behaved. Yeah, just super. Yeah, like I wear a tuxedo. Like it's just super nice. Yeah.
Just avoid the casinos or the flammable bands.
Yeah, no tight leather pants.
Awesome. Well, y'all, I'm going to play the song here in a minute. It is called What About You? It sounds awesome. Charlie, I appreciate you coming on this podcast. I know that we've been kind of wanting to schedule this for a while, so this is the perfect time. And so just give everybody a here it is. This is called What About You?
Tried laughing, cause it's the only thing I ain't tried yet. You're getting further, the closer that I get. Guess in hindsight, we're both a little misunderstood. But I know you would if anybody could. I know you got your heart set